Hi and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast. We're coming to you from BMC Engage in Las Vegas. I'm Kirsty McGowan. I'm here with Charlie Betts.
Kirsty.
Carlos Casanova.
Kirsty.
And now we're speaking with Renee Casanova, no relation.
No relation. which was great to see Casanova. I was like, finally.
Yeah. Renee is from Unisys. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here today.
Hi Renee, it's so great to have you here representing Unisys, great company with such a great history. So we've been hearing today about digital transformation and all the things technology and IT is doing in society. We're also hearing about Agile and cloud and DevOps, all these things. Now I know Unisys, you have among your clients the biggest of the big, what are you seeing out there as your customers start to grapple with this accelerating trend of digital transformation?
That's a great question. Some of the biggest challenges that we're seeing is the customer's ability to organize themselves, to understand their roadmap, how to get there. They're really looking for a lot of help in that area, especially since they have dabbled. And they have customers, their customers don't see the value at this point, right? So it really comes down to how do we get them to a point where they can have value for their customers.
Understand your customer's customer, it's as true today as it's always been.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you find that you're, and like I said, you're on the professional services side, do you find that you're delivering the services, but really almost in an educational manner to get them to understand what they need, what they might need, and the stumbles and hurdles that they're going to be encountering?
Yeah, a lot of times we'll actually go in there and do an assessment of their environment and where they are. And we do. I mentioned roadmap before. We literally help them build that roadmap. Right. Again, different companies have different levels of maturity, different ability to bring on the digital services, right? There's different levels where they'll get that level of acceptance, organizational change. You mentioned agility, right? So that's another big term in today's.
Yeah.
And how do they begin to act and grow with Agile? And those are some serious challenges. I mean, everyone's trying, and some are being more successful than others, but I think that's where we're going to see everybody eventually go.
Well, it's a confusing landscape out there for our customers too. I mean, they come to conferences like this or the other conferences around the place, and they hear, terms like, someone tells me I should be doing SIAM, someone tells me I should be doing DevOps, someone said we should be using Agile. I mean, it is really confusing. So I guess that's where someone like you can step in and sort of bring those together and get an understanding, so your customers can get an understanding of what all these terms mean and where they fit in their own landscape.
That is very true, and they go out there, they hear the term, they read a little something. Now they're the expert, they're trying to bring it, and it is a little bit challenging. There's a lot of folks out there that are dabbling right now.
Yeah, people get bombarded with just so much information now. There's so many different places it comes from.
It's very true.
It actually makes that consultancy role a lot harder because everybody's an expert.
Well, what we try and do is actually go in though, when I think about if I'm going to meet with a customer, I'll go in with a deck, a PowerPoint deck, and I'll explain the various terms. I'll explain and try and understand what we're going to bring for you is the understanding of where you might fit in this landscape, and what would be the most effective given your organization, given your environment, and your ability to adapt, because there's certain rules and certain environments that you have to follow, and in other ones, you get all that support and you can do whatever you want. So
can you speak to that, I guess, a little bit more in terms of you're educating them on essentially what the digital experience is. So, with sort of this opportunity, how do you explain that to them? And when somebody comes in, and I'm sure you've run into a situation where, somebody saw a flyer on a flight, and they come in and they're telling their people, hey, we got to do this, and they don't really fully understand it. So how do you explain to them what the digital experience is, this new approach that that we're kind of embarking on?
I think I try and understand what their end user community is, because who are they serving?
Yep.
Right? Who is their customer?
Right.
And if you don't understand what's important to them, you're not going to really understand how to help them get there.
Right.
So we take a look at that, and we've some of the customers, they've got SharePoint sites out there. They have they call someone. They do all kinds of different things to get those services across. And there's usually a very low level of satisfaction.
Right.
There's and that's what digital services is about, right? It's about bringing to an end customer one place to go, make it easy, make it simple. So I think when we go down that route and we start to literally question them about their customer and the way that they need to do things and what do they think would be acceptable,
Right.
then we start to try and figure out what the customer experience
Are they always
should be.
receptive to that?
So I think they are. I don't think they understand how to realize it, though.
Okay.
Right, and that's where that roadmap comes in. And it's going to be a long time for some companies, depending on the industry that they're in. Some of them are going to go very slow, and it also depends on the governance within their organizations. Do they have that support? Because if you don't have the support from the top down, you're just not gonna make it. You've got someone pushing up, and it's just not going to work.
Yeah, and it depends, their end customers too, they're going to dictate a lot of it. If you've got a customer pool that's really pushing for innovation, then that's going to make you drive a lot faster.
Or you're going to have a lot of shadow IT.
Yeah.
Right?
That happens too.
There's a lot of money being spent on doing it yourself.
Yes.
So if you don't get it from somewhere else,
Yeah.
you're going to just go out there and get it yourself. So.
Yeah, shadow IT is becoming so pervasive. I think almost we need a different word for it.
Yeah.
It's no longer in the shadows. It's,
Yeah,
in the shadows. It's just there,
Well, think about it, right? If it's not, we mention it all the time. It's mentioned that it can't, by definition, be in the shadows anymore.
No,
when everybody knows
we
it's
all
there,
know about it. Yeah.
It's not in the shadows anymore. So, I know you've spent more time, digging into that space, and we spoke about bimodal sort of thing. Is that really just shadow IT with a clean label now? I don't know. Is that where it's going?
Well, I think it really depends on where the money is.
If it's actually been deceiving or not, it's still shadows.
That's right. So if it's my business and my money, I'm not in the shadows. I'm just doing what I need to do.
Right.
If it's if I don't have that budget but I'm doing it, well, now
Then it's a little bit more shadowy.
Yeah, a little shadowy.
Just sneaking it from somewhere else.
Right.
So are you getting into that sort of bimodal, getting to customers that are doing a little bit more of that bimodal work?
Yeah, we're definitely challenged with some of the folks that they are trying to get that level of control to bring it all in.
Gotcha.
But again, they need to know their customer. They need to understand. They need to go out and advertise that I'm here to help you. And as long as people don't start taking that initiative to bring it together, then you're never going to get rid of it, right? So it really depends on the organization. I would encourage most organizations to understand and know, because from a financial perspective, there's so much money could be saved if you don't do shadow IT.
Yeah.
And the level of satisfaction, right?
Sure.
So, but companies have to keep modernizing. They have to understand what is going to make people come to them and get their services.
Yeah, if they don't keep pace with what their customers are asking for,
exactly.
then
I mean, there's also a cost of delay. There's a cost of having redundant computers, but there's also a cost to not getting out to the market opportunity quickly enough.
That's right.
Yep, and it's got to bring the quality, right?
Yeah, that still has to be the number one consideration, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Renee, thank you very much for spending some time with us today.
Okay,
It's been
well, thank
a
you
pleasure
for having
chatting
me.
with you.
Okay,
Thanks.
same here.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you.